What's going on, everyone? This is End Time. Welcome to DFG Chats here at Drama Free Gaming. It is what it says, and it says what it is. Sit back, relax, and get ready for another episode. As we're going to be looking at and commenting here as I watch the updates on the Xbox Business official Xbox podcast presentation, which occurred a couple of hours ago. And this is the news. This is the news that gamers have been waiting for, I guess. There's been a lot of sensationalism, a lot of speculation, a lot of worries, and people all over the place with this. I'll tell you that my thoughts are that Xbox is going to just set things again in order, not say anything really that we don't already know. But let's go to the video. Let's see. I'm going to give again a live reaction to this. I haven't seen the video yet, so let me see if I can bring up the share screen, as I already have it kind of sort of prepped here. And that should be up. And let's see. Hopefully this will be enlightening. All right, I'm going to hit play and we'll see what Phil Spencer and crew have to say. All right, let's get it.
Tina Amini, and we have a very special episode today, as you can probably tell by the fact that I'm joined by Phil, Sarah, and Matt. Welcome. And we're going to talk about some updates at Xbox. We want to talk about game exclusivity. We want to talk about Activision Blizzard now that they're part of our portfolio, how that might be an impact on Game Pass. And we want to talk about hardware too and how all of this fits into the strategy at Xbox. So where should we start, Phil?
Well, when we originally had planned for the show, starting back in December, I think we probably would have started with.
So I'm going to say this right off the bat, and I'm going to be giving commentary as we're watching this. We're sure that this is scripted, right? Or are they just sitting there and it's, them answering kind of unpracticed? I don't know. I want to say that everything's been already set up and they have the answers that they're going to give. And yeah, it makes sense because they want to give a clear message and, again, settle everyone down who has any concerns of Xbox going all in on just software and becoming a publisher. But let's see.
With Activision Blizzard, maybe talked a little bit about the exclusivity with some of the news coming up and then hardware. But we've had some unforeseen news that has come out. So let's just go and tackle the exclusivity question, because I know it's on the minds of a lot of people.
Here we go, exclusivity. Let's see what Phil has to say about this.
So we made the decision that we're going to take 4 games to the other consoles, just 4 games, not a change to our kind of fundamental exclusive strategy. We're making these decisions for some specific reasons. We make every decision really with the long-term health of Xbox in mind.
Okay, you saw how he said, Phil just said that they make every decision for specific reasons. I'm going to tell you the specific reasons that any company, not just Xbox, but any company that is looking to grow, that is looking to be profitable, it's all about that bottom line. That's not a bad thing. If a company is going to stick around, whether they're a mom and pop shop or whether they're a big Microsoft company, it's about making money. You don't make money, you're not going to be around to provide the services or sell the products that you sell. So that's the bottom line. That's the answer. Let's see what Phil has to say.
Long-term health of Xbox means a growing platform, our games performing, building the best platform for creators, reaching as many players as we can. We're always looking to learn as a leadership team and to grow. And we think this is an interesting point in time for us to use what some of the other platforms have right now to help grow our franchises. So we're going to do that.
So these 4 titles, what are they? Can you say?
I'm not going to name those games. The teams that are building those games have announced plans that are not too far away. As we know, game teams put a lot of energy into their announcements with the partners. So I don't want to take anything away from those teams. So I won't be talking about the titles specifically, but I think when they come out, it'll make sense.
Can we say if either of those titles are Starfield or Indiana Jones?
Good question.
They are not Starfield or Indiana Jones.
Wow.
Well, what was the criteria and how the team was thinking about selecting?
So she asked, Tina Amini asked Phil Spencer, so out of these 4 games that you just mentioned, is any of those games the new Indiana Jones or Starfield? Now, for me, if you ask me, Starfield should be on other platforms. It should be on PlayStation. Like, that's the type of game that you want the most people that can get access to it to play it in order for it to thrive, in order for it to grow. I know it's not a live service game, but it's a game that's going to be around for a while. And that's the plans that Bethesda has with it. They've talked about supporting it, making content, growing the community. Why would you not want a game like that, Starfield, to be on another platform, to be on Switch, to be on PlayStation, to be on as many platforms as possible? I don't get it. I love Xbox. I prefer the Xbox ecosystem, but come on, it makes sense to me that game should be reaching the maximum audience that it could reach. But let's hear some more what Phil Spencer is saying. Excuse me.
Those 4 titles.
Let me start a little bit outside of that, and then I'll get to the 4 specific games that we're talking about right now. Because the fundamental decision driver for any decision that we make, anything we're going to talk about today, is the long-term health of Xbox.
There it goes
that
again.
We're running a growing platform that is reaching more players, that our games are having as much success as possible. And I do have a fundamental belief that over the next 5 or 10 years, exclusive games that are exclusive to one piece of hardware, are going to be a smaller and smaller part of the game industry.
Did you hear that? Did you just hear what he said? Not only did he repeat growing, right? He said that word growing, to grow, like 4 or 5 times already in the last 2 minutes and 55 seconds that I have on this recording, to grow the platform, to reach as many players as we can. And then what he just said right there, long term, 10 years down the road, it might not even be that long, that exclusivity is going to continue to shrink. Exclusive games that are going to be beholden and trapped on a specific console, that is going to shrink. I think that if we're being honest, we see it now. And I think that Xbox, and I'm not trying to be apologetic here, but I think that Xbox is leading the charge. And the reason why they're leading the charge and they're paving the way, for console gamers, is because Microsoft understands on the PC side that PC doesn't have that console war mentality. It's PC. You can play on PC most anything that you want. You have communities that support games long after the actual producers that put out the games, the companies that put out the games, stop supporting. So there's so much to say here, but exclusivity, a game being trapped on a platform, that's going to be a thing of the past. Let's hear what Phil has to say.
And that's not some great insight, because if you look at the last 10 years and what the biggest games are today, it's a natural place whether it's one console and PC, multiple consoles, mobile console and PC, you see big games landing
it's
on
what
multiple
Xbox been
platforms.
saying
And
for the
we want to
longest.
be a great platform for creators that are trying to realize that potential. But now back to the specifics of the question on these four specific titles. We looked at games that are over a year old, so they've been on Xbox and PC for a while. A couple of the games are community-driven games, new games that kind of first iterations of a franchise that have reached their full potential, let's say on Xbox and PC. There's always growth. Franchises that we obviously want to continue to invest in. Part of having the ability to continue to invest is that the businesses behind those franchises continue. We think it's important that these service-based games that have communities behind them, that they can have confidence that they're going to exist in the future. So
again, it's all about reaching the masses. If a game, and he just gave some specifics, a year old. So the games that these 4 games that he's not really mentioning by name or whatnot, these 4 games, they're already out. They're older than a year. So they've been on Xbox, maybe exclusive to Xbox and PC, like Phil just said, but they're a year old. They've reached the community that they're going to reach on the Xbox. And notice this is a word he's saying, platform. He's not saying Xbox console. Xbox is a platform. They want to get away from being identified as just a box. So they're using the word, he's using the word platform. I catch that, right? It's not the Xbox console. It's the Xbox platform. So the game is a year. These games are more than a year old. They've reached within the Xbox platform. That's to include PC and tablets and mobile and all that. They've reached a certain part of the population, but they want to expand. They want to continue growing. Why? Because it's a good thing for these live service games. If these live service games don't have communities, they die. They cease to exist. A perfect example of this, look at the resurgence of Monster Hunter World. Now we have Monster Hunter Rise and we have Monster Hunter Wild that was announced and it's not coming until next year. But there is a thriving, growing community that is still playing Monster Hunter World. And you can play Monster Hunter World on PlayStation 5. You can play it on the Xbox. You can play it on PC, Steam. You can play it on Switch. You can play it on all these platforms. And that benefits the community, it benefits the game, and it gives it longevity. That's the only way that live service games are going to continue to be and to exist. Let's hear Phil continue.
2 of them kind of community-driven games that will end up on other platforms and give us the ability to continue to invest in them. We think that's great for the business and great for the communities, more players to play with. I'd say 2 of the other games are smaller games that were never really meant to be built as kind of platform exclusives and all the fanfare that goes around that, but games that our teams really wanted to go build, that we love supporting creative endeavors across our studios, regardless of size. And as they've realized their full potential on Xbox and PC, we see an opportunity to utilize the other platforms as a place to just drive more business value out of those games.
You know what game comes to mind as Phil was speaking about smaller games, maybe indie games that again were maybe showcased and highlighted on Xbox and then, you know, it made its way to PC. Cuphead made by a small studio. It was a passion project. It is a phenomenal game, but those individuals who produced this game years later after they invested literal sweat, blood, and tears. If you don't know the story of Cuphead, go look it up. It's wild. But these individuals, it was a handful of people. I'm talking about literally like maybe 4 people, and I'm blanking on their name right now, the studio name, but they came out with a game. The game was wildly successful on the Xbox platform, but you can play it on the Switch. You can play it on PC. That's awesome. That's great. Imagine if that game Cuphead would have remained trapped on Xbox and it would have never seen the light of day on PC, would have never seen the light of day on the Switch. And this is where I don't understand people getting bent out of shape, that games that have premiered or have been quote unquote timed exclusives on Xbox, that they're getting all bent out of shape now that these games are making their way over to other platforms, to other people who are never going to play on an Xbox, who are not interested in PC and Steam Deck, who may want to just play on their Nintendo Switch. Think about that. All right, let's continue.
Allowing us to invest in maybe future iterations of those, so sequels to those, or just other games like that in our portfolio. And when we don't damage Xbox and we can grow our business using what other platforms have
grow your business
to help us with that, we're going to do that. And that's really the story behind these 4 games. And last thing I'll say, looking forward, I think there is an interesting story for us of introducing Xbox franchises to players on other platforms to get them more interested in Xbox.
That's what
we
I was
think
just
there's
saying.
a good brand value for Xbox there. So 4 games, no promise beyond that. So if you're on those other platforms and you see these 4 games coming, please don't take it as some signal that everything's coming. It's not. And we're going to learn.
So when you are thinking about the future and this concept of live service,
the 4 games, and he's making a solid point there. It's not that it's just these 4 games and that's it. Microsoft is testing the waters. Microsoft is seeing the writing on the wall. They are seeing the statistics. They see that it is profitable to the brand, to Xbox, to these game companies to be put elsewhere. Why? So that they can continue growing. Why? So that they can continue making money. Why? So they can continue investing and reinvesting in games. And it's a cycle. It's a cycle. Money makes money. And that's what it's all about. That's their purpose. So again, this is to our benefit. Now, I'm curious to hear, and I haven't heard that yet. What I've heard is this: they're not going to damage. He just said it. We're not going to do anything to damage the brand. Think about that. What is the brand of Xbox? When you think about Xbox, you think about Halo. When you think about Xbox, you think about Forza. When you think about Xbox, you think about Gears of War. They're not going to damage the brand by taking those IPs which identify them and putting them on the competitor's box. At least that's what I believe that Phil is saying. But we'll see. We'll see.
Games that can benefit from bigger audiences, new audiences. How does that apply to future titles and how you're applying that criteria there?
Yeah, there's really no fundamental change to how we think about exclusivity. We just came out of Developer Direct, which was an awesome show where we showed great games that are coming to Xbox and PC and cloud, which really makes them accessible to hundreds of millions of people. So it's this kind of, we're really focused on a couple platforms and what's going to show up there. But our key of play the games you want with the people you want, anywhere you want, when everybody plays, we all win. These have been part of our strategy for years and will continue to be. Our focus is on how do we continue to grow the games industry by reaching more players in more places.
How do we grow?
How do we grow Xbox as part of that?
How do we grow the
Xbox
platform?
Xbox is a hardware platform. Xbox is a publisher of great games. Xbox as a platform for the world's best creators.
Mm-hmm. And then knowing that, how do we think about our first-party games and Game Pass?
Yeah, well,
he just named 3 things: growing the name, growing the brand, growing the platform, growing the games, right? I think that's what he said. I'm not going to go back and hear it, but you know what? Yeah, I'm going to click back so that we can hear Phil say that again. Let me rewind it a little bit and let's see. Let's name the 3.
And how do we grow Xbox as part of that? Xbox is a hardware platform. Xbox is a publisher of great games, and Xbox as a platform for the world's best creators.
There you have it.
And then knowing that, how do we think about our first-party games and Game Pass?
Yeah, well, to build on what Phil just said, one thing I would add, as you were talking about growth, is just that
Mikey Barr.
We've sort of seen this inversion over the last 5 years, where it used to be that the platform was the biggest thing.
That's right.
And the games would sort of tuck in within the platform. Today, big games like a Roblox or a Fortnite could actually be bigger than any one platform. And that really has changed the way that we think about things. So in the midst of all that, I think we at First Party can come back to sort of some core.
Did you just hear what Matt Booty just said? He said before it was all about that platform. It was about that hardware, that box, and then the games that you could pump into it. Now we have games that are bigger than the platform. Those are the Roblox, like he said, the Minecrafts. Those games that are bigger than a platform. That's the times we live in. And these games that he mentioned, it's live service games. It's games that thrive and are dependent on communities. It's not like back in the days, the single player experience, you play your game or couch co-op. No, now it's about connecting and playing everywhere and anywhere and on whatever device you want to play on. Yeah. It's a shift in the mindset, but it's not something that just happened. They've been doing this for years. Look at backwards compatibility. They've been prepping this for years, turning this ship in this direction. We shouldn't pretend that we've been caught off guard if we've been paying attention. Let's go.
Our principles. First, that all of our games will be on the Xbox platform. Second, all of our games will go into Game Pass on day 1. And third, we know that Game Pass will only be available on Xbox. So there's sort of starting points for us. As Phil mentioned, there are games today that you can play that only can be found on Xbox. And at the same time, we want to bring more of our games to more players. So we're going to continue to look at that. Kind of moving aside, though, from some of those and thinking more about what does it really mean for the player, to me, the 2 key things are cross-play and cross-save.
Yes.
Those things allow us to deliver on the promise of Xbox, which is play with your friends where they are, play on the devices you want, play the game.
Cross-play, cross-save. Is it possible? Yes, it is. Just hit the button. Just hit the switch and allow it. But why won't other platforms hit the switch? Why won't they do that? Why won't they allow the cross play, cross save? Because they want you and I, the consumer, to buy the game specifically on their console. Money, right? They want to make that money. Do I blame them? No. But if and they know if your friends are on Xbox, you're going to buy it on Xbox. If your friends are on PlayStation, you're going to buy that game on PlayStation. They're on PC, you're going to do it on PC, right? And PC, let's just put it to the side, right? Let's just talk about just the consoles, right? Xbox and PlayStation. They know. And now Xbox is saying, you know what? Our focus and what we're heading towards is cross save and what was it? And cross play. And they're still talking about their platform and PC. Okay. There's no mention of PlayStation, but mark my words, PlayStation is gonna go down this path. They're going to have to, if they're going to grow. If they're going to grow beyond selling consoles, and if they want to grow their brand, they're going to have to start adopting not these practices that Xbox somehow pioneered, but no, this is common sense. They're just going to have to, by necessity, they're going to have to, if they want to continue growing. All right, let's continue.
Games you want. So that is really only possible at a practical level when you know that your saves and your player are going to be able to move across all those parts. So not all of our games today are necessarily built to take advantage of that. There still will be some games that don't. As we bring more teams into the Xbox family, there's some catch up to do as we get there. But that cross-play, cross-save is like so fundamental to what we're doing. And I think is something that we as first party get such a good benefit from being so close to the platform.
That brings more people
absolutely.
in.
I mean, that's one of the things, like you said, all of our games are always in Game Pass. And so I'm excited to announce,
Xbox
with the coming together that we had with Activision Blizzard King, that Activision and Blizzard games are coming to Game Pass, starting with Diablo 4 on March 28th, which I'm super, super excited to share today. And it's all part of our commitment to make Xbox, the Xbox experience and the games that we build as widely available as possible. So now the 34 million Game Pass members can all enjoy the fantastic experience of Diablo 4.
Amazing. Can we come back to the point, Phil, you mentioned at the top, this isn't really a change in strategy.
34 million. Xbox doesn't give a lot of numbers, but Sarah Bond just said Game Pass has 34 million subscribers. Do the math. Why do you think, again, it's a running theme? Why do they want to grow? Why do they want to expand and put their titles on other platforms? To grow their community and drive people towards Game Pass. I'm sure that they're going to mention Game Pass here a whole lot, because Game Pass for gaming is a great thing, but you just have to be conscious and aware. Are you that type of consumer that Game Pass is right for you? And I'll talk about that another time, but let's continue.
For us, can you recap for me how it isn't?
Yeah, and I thought both Matt and Sarah did a really nice job of talking about what we're doing on Xbox, where we're going. If you take a platform feature like Xbox Play Anywhere, which has been a promise that we've made on our first party games, that you can buy our game once, you're going to get play across Xbox and Windows. I think we're the only platform that does this. That makes it possible for you not only to play with your friends wherever they are, but to know that you actually have multiple entitlements.
So that right there, and I'm stopping the video on here. Multiple entitlements. You purchase it, and he's talking about digital purchases, right? So he's talking about you buy it one time, and you buy it for, let's say, I don't know, you buy it for the platform, for the Xbox, and then you get to access it also on PC. So yeah, they're selling that hard. Okay, they want to sell that hard. And okay, we have I'm sorry about that. The video started to play again, and I'm not sharing the screen this time, but yeah, maybe I can bring that up. Let me bring it up and see if we can pick up where we left off. So here we are sharing once again, and I'm going to fast forward us. Let's see if I remember where we were at. It kind of paused, and it looks like it wants to do that again. It's still buffering, so let's give it a moment. I'm actually gonna stop sharing the screen. So far, I'm gonna give us a hot take on this. So far, I haven't heard anything that I haven't heard before. Xbox has been charting this course from a whiles ago. And now we're at a place where, again, they know that the future of Xbox, the Xbox brand, the platform, the studios, the only way that they are going to prosper and to grow is to go beyond a box. And they didn't say that they were going to get out of the hardware business. Why is it necessary for Microsoft to continue making a box, for Xbox to be a console? It's necessary because you're not going to get a 100% conversion rate of people that are all of a sudden going to say, well, if I don't need an Xbox to play, why should I buy an Xbox if I can just play it on my phone, or I can just play it on an app on my TV? The reality is that the box makes it convenient, where you just get this device and you plug and play. And you know what? The way technology is going, I can see a near future where you don't have to have such a souped up machine. You can still keep it cost efficient, and you can put it out there for your developers to develop their games on that box, and then they can scale it to PCs. I think it was a friend of mine's who is on our Discord, Henyo. He was showing me a statistic of how many people on PC are still playing at 1080p resolution. They're still using 1080p monitors. And here we are being told 4K, 8K. That's the standard. Oh, we need to have 60 frames per second or 120 frames per second refresh rate and all this other nonsense at 4K, or if not, it's trash. It's nonsense. It's nonsense. That's a small minority. Those are the people who are on the bleeding edge, on the edge of technology, where they have to have the newest, the latest, and what is perceived as the greatest. Look at the Switch. The Switch proves to everyone, to every one of us, it should prove to every one of us that the console is still around, is still thriving. It might be now, plateauing and coming down the other side. Hence the talk of a Switch 2 and the desire for it. But you know what? I hope that Nintendo doesn't come out with something that is high end and high tech. I'd be glad if the Switch 2 which is what people are calling it, which is what I would call it. I'd be glad if they bumped up the resolution from 720 to 1080 handheld. I'd be fine with that. Perfectly fine. Give me a chip that can give me performance up to and about a PS4. I'll be perfectly happy with that, to play the new Mario Kart and all the rest of the IPs that are already proven and are the mark of Nintendo, because we know what to expect from them. And I'm talking about Nintendo to say that Microsoft on this path, doing what they're doing, speaking about the brand, speaking about the platform, speaking about the steps that they're taking to profit their business, to grow their business so that they can continue investing in studios, in people, and in companies. Listen, the reality is that, and I hope to make a part 2 of this video, but the reality is that it's taking longer to make these AAA games. It's taking more people. Studios are just growing exponentially. And in order for people to continue to be employed, in order for people to continue to be around, and studios to be around to make these games, it takes money. And so I'll leave with some parting thoughts. One of the things here that I was just thinking about is, what would you rather have? Would you rather have a platform or a brand, let's say Xbox, as we're talking about Xbox, would you rather have Xbox focus on exclusive games and just everything that they make, keeping it on their box, not a platform, but on their Xbox, on their on their platform and their ecosystem, and then offering you and I, in order to hopefully continue to grow, offering you and I in their games, in their live service games, offering us microtransactions and loot boxes. And I don't know about you, but I don't like any of those things I just mentioned. I don't want to be nickeled and dimed. I don't want to have those predatory things in my game. And I call them predatory because I may not fall to it, but there's going to be individuals who are going to obsess and are going to put money into it in an unhealthy manner. I'm not talking about buying an item here or there, and that's fine, no problem. But for those who can't help themselves, who need to have, again, everything, and don't even get me started that this is all for naught, because it's a digital product. You don't really own anything physical. Would you rather have that? Would you rather have a future of that? Or would you rather have a gaming experience on a platform and on a brand that sees the writing on the wall and has been taking the steps to go in this direction, to grow their business, to grow their company, so that they can make more money, because that's the name of the game, but to make more money, to reinvest into their business, their company, hopefully into people, and to continue growing and to continue providing us with the experiences and the games that we enjoy. Those are just my thoughts. Maybe you agree, maybe you disagree. I'll probably make a part 2 to this video. I apologize that while watching the video, somehow, for some reason, it paused on me, and I don't want to go back to it and start, dealing with that. But I might make a part 2 and continue my thoughts here on this. But guys, appreciate you being here. Again, this is End Time at DFG Chats here at Drama Free Gaming on YouTube. You know where you can catch us. Hopefully you'll continue to tune in if you liked this content, if it was even remotely educational, informative, entertaining, stimulating. Hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up button, and share with someone else. And I hope that we can continue to have some sensible conversation. Until the next time, be good, do good, and keep your gaming and your life drama free. We'll catch you on the next one, guys. Later.